Well, hello everyone. This is me eating my lunch. It's an orange day today. It's also spring break, so my daughter's about to come through the door. So we will explore how this works. Yummy! So for anyone popping on, this is Ask the Invisibles. Here, it's me, Sarah Burns, and my crew of spirit mentors. I like to refer to simply as the Invisibles. And we do this every Wednesday at 2:30 Pacific Standard Time. So in order to move on, the basic guidelines of this is believe it, receive it, leave it, or lend it. So use your own internal compass of truth to navigate that. And this is a place for questions for yourself, humanity, or the planet. So really, sometimes it could even just be a question that somebody's brought up to you recently and you want to go further into it. Just allow yourself to bring forth what's important. And blessed spring, everyone. We're just passing the crest of the spring equinox. So over here, I'm in British Columbia, all the flowers are starting to come through, and the crocuses and the purples of the earth are expressing themselves. Hey, Lila, where are you?
I'm in my room.
You okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, do you want to say hi to people for a moment? No? You can come up for a moment. I don't even know if people are going to see this yet. No, you're good. Okay. Yes. All right, so it's a lot more casual Ask the Invisibles today. See my daughter behind me. All right, so the first question that I'm going to do is regarding if there's any guidance about spring, about how we can maximize our time right now in spring and bringing forth these fresh, vital energies of the earth that are coming forward. And then after I kind of go through that little transmission about springtime, we can get into personal questions. So personal questions you can either put on the thread beneath, or you can send me a private message. And if for whatever reason I don't receive it, sometimes I might miss out on actually getting your message. Please send some sort of like emoji and I'll do my best to pick up on the subtle signals. All right, so that being said, here we go. So spring, a teaching of spring. Wouldn't it be beautiful if the world was constantly abloom? Well, in some places of the planet, it's like that freshness, that vitality, the plants, the insects, the wildlife, the songs of nature, that rejoicing of the sun, that rejoicing of the nourishment, the sustenance, that being in a place where there's constant life on the outside, constant growth to be harvested, to receive the colors of the earth, the colors of the flowers, the colors of the fruits. But spring is a very special presence. And it's a presence that on a collective level is felt. Whether or not where you're living exhibits that. It is the time when the great deep energies of the root systems of the earth that have been cultivating themselves in their exquisite, grounded presence deep in the earth begin to surface. And this also happens in yourself too. where the last few months, this last winter time, when there's been a time of incubating, bringing in energetic resources, working with what's available, and fortifying what's going to hold your dreams to the surface, what's going to bring life to the surface. So now that spring is upon us, now that these energies are revealing themselves to us, it's also an opportunity to explore how you've been harnessing and harboring doubt towards any of your creations. Doubt that they will have a follow through, doubt that the people will be able to receive you and what you want to bring, doubt that there isn't enough resources to accommodate what is growing through you in your life. Well, this is what we want to express to you. If you are experiencing doubt in the innate quality of spring rising through you, of life force rising through you, bringing itself to the forefront of your mind to reveal its essence, its presence, what it looks like. This is a time of starting to see what you've been harnessing within you, seeing what that actually looks like. So it's a time when there's a completion or an invigoration of old cycles in your life. Friendships coming to the surface. So if there's any doubt that you will be able to see what has been beneath, let that go. Create the space, and if you need to dig a bit to let those plants come through, if they're taking longer because they're buried deeper in the soil, they're still growing, just like those seeds. They're still growing. So trust and an intention that we have, or an affirmation is, I allow the beauty within the core of my being desiring to be fruited in this next cycle. Come through the spaciousness and the pores of my consciousness to bring itself to the world. Thank you. All right. Hello, everyone. Blessed springtime. I'm here in my orange world. I'm just going to rep carrot ginger soups. Amazing and simple. So let's see. And hello, everyone. Popping on. Let's see what kind of questions. We were just going through the journey of spring and the energies of spring and trusting in your creations. So the first question we have lined up. Hello, Donald. Hello, Ona. Hello, Viola. Hello, everyone else that I can't see who you are. Welcome to Ask the Invisibles. So Ona says, hi, dear. Oh, so Ona's saying that the connection's a bit off and she can't tell if it's on her end. Is anyone having issues with the connection? If so, I can wire myself in. Otherwise, here we go. So she says, I would love to know what guidance wants to come up for this next leg of the journey and changes commencing. Thank you. All right. Well, hopefully, no, connection's fine on your end, Viola. Perfect. So Ona, if you get into better reception and you need, wonderful. Thanks, reassurance. So if you get into better reception and you want to go over what I've said, Ona, you're welcome to do that if it's shoddy. So here we go. I left my bell somewhere else, so I brought these today. One of them was like, get off your high horse, start doing the grunt work. No offense. No, just as I said that, this like bumblebee just came to my window, which is interesting. For me, the bees very much symbolize the feminine principles and working together in the hive mind. And like it was a worker bee too. And oh, perfect. Okay. Why we're saying do the grunt work is that there are substantial requests of you that are going to not feel so fruitful to begin with. And so we're talking about building the platform for whether it's a business or for working or collaborations with somebody or other people, that there's going to be a feeling of needing to really invest a lot of time that might not feel so rewarding. This is the important part, is that the grunt work needs to happen for success to come through. And even in the concept of spring, as we're playing with spring metaphors right now, sometimes it's the grunt work of actually pushing your seed through the earth, okay? That process of moving that vital energy through the earth may appear that you're surrounded by the darkness, though, that no matter how strong and forceful you go in the direction that you feel is serving you, it can be hard to really relate that you're going anywhere at all. Well, I want to say the seed is being pulled by a greater force. The seed is being pulled away from gravity. It's being pulled to the opposite of gravity. It's pulled to the celestials, the above. The sun is yearning and welcoming that seed up. That there is a forefront purpose in your life that is pulling you towards that. Whether you resist or not, you are going in that direction. So we give you that assurance. But the grunt work still requires you to push through and experiment and explore different ways of expressing yourself that might not be as eloquent. Even, it's like they're kind of showing me like social media, like, or working with, like, it almost feels like there might even be like computers involved, like, I don't know, I have to go on the computer a lot, surprisingly. And if anything, learning how to make your computer area or the places that you're going to have to be doing that work really beautiful. So if you have to do computer work, if you have to do social media, if you have to start like kind of getting yourself out there in different ways and building your online platform more, then, if you can bring your office outside is always very lovely. But for you, the feeling I have is like, there's kind of like this building that needs to happen in yourself that's going to continue, like that's lining you up for something in the future, but it's not necessarily like there's not like, you might not necessarily be getting paid necessarily for this amount of time. So even if you're like exploring working with other people, there might be a time of really investing a lot of time and energy and not fully getting the kind of satisfaction or even financial reimbursement that you need to validate it, right, in the long run. But that right now you're kind of like dedicating yourself to moving through whatever's in the way. It feels like there's definitely some like thickness that is going to feel really refreshing once you move through it. So another guidance that they're kind of pulling at is if you can they're saying that as much as there's grunt work, or as much as there's this thicker moving through that's happening, to make sure that you're balancing that with something that's nourishing. So if you're into dancing, like make sure you're getting a good dose of dancing in, or if you love having friends over or going out for tea, like balancing it with that on either side. So it doesn't have to, because they're saying that if you do too much in one direction, then you can actually start draining and depleting yourself and giving up. So making sure you're balancing it, but focusing that if there's requests of you, if somebody suggests things of you too, so if like in the direction that you're kind of commencing on, just like be aware of the clues that are along the way. I'm sure you are. And if some of the, the guidance or the pathways feel like it's going to be kind of a little bit out of your comfort level a bit, maybe you're going to learn through it, but that it's probably a good experiment to go in that direction. So that's kind of what they're saying. You little seed, you get through the soil because the sun is so beautiful, but know you're always being pulled by the sun and that the rains will find you. So blessings, my dear. I hope that's helpful. So hello everyone, popping on for Ask the Invisibles. We have, I'm just going to double check if we have any private messages that I'm not seeing. All right, I think we're good. So The next question we have amidst my lunch. Oh my goodness, this is so good. Is from Viola. And she's saying, hello dear. My question is about my health this time. What are the emotions that are holding my body in pain? My lungs when they can't breathe, and this past new moon weekend my knee wouldn't bend. What does that mean? How is it all connected? I'm aware of illuminating, driving, changing lifestyle if necessary. I feel I am working on it and I am close to making a shift for relief. Wonderful. Well, I know that knee, at least from my experience in working with other healers, that knee has a lot to do with moving forward in life. And did you say, oh, you're welcome, Ona. Let's see, did you say which knee it was? Which knee was it? Because depending on your knee, your left, because I have also gone through knee journeys, especially during times in my life where I was about to make a really big step towards something that was really exciting for me, but I've also like had nervousness around because it was your right one. Okay. So yeah, right. Ooh, that's all about forward. That's all about direction and locking up like the mat. For me, like the right is also a lot more of the masculine side. So, but it's affecting your left hip. Oh, and then the hip. Okay. I feel like the hips, the kind of image I'm seeing is like the hips also, if on a woman too, the hips are like what hold, or they're the guardians of the womb space, of that like sacred cauldron of creativity. And how what I'm kind of putting together is that as this direction forward is getting locked up, as there's actually like a seizing of you being able to move forward on a very physical level, that it's affecting your capacity to hold your creativity and hold that cauldron of the most preciousness, that is within your womb space, that prayer for humanity, that way that you show up from the core of your center, of your Lord Anchan. So let's see what they have to say about that. Oh, hey Whitney, sweet. All right, so let's see what they have to say, my dear. So what if the leg was amputated? A leg that knew what it felt like to move forward with grace and ease, to run, to glide, to dance, to jump, to pummel, to fall. What if this leg was amputated, which does happen to some people? And then all of a sudden, there's this ghost leg. There's this impulse, this neurological impulse to move forward, to run, to dance, but it's not there. It's being met with a block. Well, in some ways, we see that life has created a particular circumstances that make it feel that your capacity to fully move forward is almost amputated. There's something about July to November, more July to August, specifically that area last year. There was something that happened. But what we're seeing is that there's life force that must flow through your actions. There's been a lot of life force flowing through your mind, considering options, communicating, but there's actions that need to happen. Because the more that these actions are stunted, or feel that it's unsafe to move forward, feel that if you move forward, you will lose all that's grounding or supporting you. If you move forward, what's important to you will dissolve. If you move forward, the world won't have your back. If you move forward, you will be alone. If you move forward, that aloneness will cripple you in the end. Well, in some ways, that aloneness has been with you in a bed. In some ways, even though there's people around, a feeling of aspects of yourself, feeling alone in being able to move forward. So, why are you here now? Why are you here on this planet? Is it the relief you're mentioning? Or is it being able to release expectations of yourself? Expectations that your ancestors may be holding for you. Just long enough that you can trust that what is occurring in your body is here because it's allowing you to let go of directions that don't serve you. And why we're bringing this up is though there's a direction that you've been wanting to go in that feels imperitable, or whatever that word is, an absolute truth. But there's something that needs to be tweaked about this design. Because this rigidity is actually affecting how you live your life. You wouldn't see it as rigidity. You would see it as being focused and concentrated. But your body, there's rigidity in how you move forward in the direction you are going towards. It has its own way. I just saw this image of Hawaii, like warm, tropical, like place. I'm wondering, have you ever been to Hawaii? Have you ever thought of traveling to Hawaii? Because it feels like they're kind of showing that, like, it's like the light, like something needs to have like a 180, like something needs, like there's a direction you're going in that's been like really straight, even if you felt no you'd like to. I think it could be good for you. Not drop everything and leave, but yeah, there's something. I'm just, of course, you always think about it. Well, it feels like it would be really potentially a very powerful place for your body to realign itself, because it kind of feels like what's happening is like there's this direction, there's this pattern, there's this feeling of this obligation or responsibility to what you set out to, or why you're, all these big whys. And even though there may be some like ambiguity around it, that to redirect to a place, even if it's like, like Hawaii, is it just a tropical place? It might, Hawaii is the only thing that I'm associating because I've lived in Hawaii, so I have definitely followed that impulse. But maybe Costa Rica, but it feels like it might be tricky for you to go flying. I wonder. There's ways, but yeah, it feels, that's up to you. And this is just what I'm seeing is like tropical, something's there to support you. I think Hawaii might be easier to be like integrated there potentially, but yeah, they're not giving you the answers. They want you to, yeah. Yeah, so yeah, let's just stay in Hawaii. That's but why they're bringing it up, I'm going to get to the next question in a moment, but why they're bringing that up is it's like it feels like you just need a really big reset, like retreat reset that's in a very different place, like with just leaving all, like just leaving for a moment and just resetting. I know Hawaii is a really powerful place for, they call it like the place where healers go to reset and recharge and replenish themselves, because it feels like there's something about like leaving what you have now, not necessarily like getting rid of everything, but like resetting and then seeing what your priorities really are, how they stand once there's been that reset. So I'm going to leave it at that, but tell me if you go to Hawaii. All right, thank you. All right, so moving on. Whitney, you made it. Your brother. Okay. So just for anyone too, if you're ever asking about other people, I can only really tap in with what I have permission from. Oh, you're welcome, yeah. I can only tap in with what I have permission from their higher selves. So just to honor, because unless he's like here beside you and I'm, oh, you checked in with him? Was that what you're saying? Is that what you mean by you did? I have his permission? Whitney, when you said I did, does that mean that I have permission to check in with him? That he's aware of this? No, I did make it. Oh, okay. Oh, you made it. Yes, you did. Okay. Great. Well, let's see what they have to say, just in honor of his own, the laws of privacy. Okay. Well, let's see what his higher selves are always the nice little intermediary beings you can always work with. Do you know, yeah, the best bet. Do you know anyone named Philip? Do you any, for some reason I'm just hearing the word named Philip for a moment, but communicating wise, yeah. Okay, here we go. Let's see. The first thing I was seeing was like his left elbow. You do? Okay. I was seeing his like left elbow. There's something. Oh, your uncle. Interesting. Are you able to make any correlations between your uncle and your brother? Have they ever been close, or are they even related? Anyways, let me keep going. One of the dynamics that we are witnessing is that he is allowing himself to be plagued by a sense of dignity that is actually disguising a sense of failure or a sense of confusion or loss in relation to how he can actually build quite, oh, how do we say this? Oh, they're kind of showing me like there's something up, like they're saying it's actually not even, they didn't, my dad and my uncle, I could, my uncle and my brother have never met. Okay. Because they're showing like they're saying there's something about him with building, though it's like there's symbolism to it, but there's also like him wanting, like actually wanting to build, like actually wanting to create something. I'm seeing like on a very physical level, and it's like there's this like this forwardness and this direction and this desire, but it feels like, oh, hello, Nuno. This direction feels like what I'm hearing is he's welcoming in change, but he doesn't know how to make space for it. So, I mean, who hasn't been there? You know, this welcoming in, like wanting, when we get to these places of wanting something to change or wanting to, like, you know, build something or create something, but not actually creating the spaciousness to receive our manifestations or to have, you know, spaciousness through time, even creating time. I know for me, it's like I'm working on getting up even earlier. Like I've been doing a morning routine and writing and my novel and waking up early and then kind of slacking and sleeping until 7 in the morning and feeling like, wow, I can't even sleep until 7 anymore without feeling like I've just a failure because I miss out on so much opportunity to do things in the morning. But why I'm bringing that up is, it's like, why am I bringing that up? It's like I'm hearing the word like choreography for some reason, and it makes me think. Actually, they want to talk. Let's see. There's a dance that moves through each and every one of us. A dance of creativity, a dance of expectations, a dance of introspection, a dance of fulfillment, a dance of observation. And with him, there is a resistance to the dance of communication. Because vile words have stung him, and he has brought those upon others. And so to know that when you see anyone who is hard to access or isn't allowing themselves to be supported in the ways they need to actually make headway on their projects or on their path. This also is a way of creating space. Allowing yourself to be supported is a way of creating space. So what is the opposite of allowing yourself to be supported? Perhaps it's resisting expansion, resisting healing, resisting opening. And in that resistance, it's only when it reaches a breaking point where that resistance of life force energy wanting to course through you, interactions wanting to inspire you and uplift you. After so much of that, it becomes very clear that one's own life force is not as sustainably nourishing as being connected to something beyond yourself, connected to other ideas, support, inspiration. As a plant, as a creature that is birthed into a community-minded wiring in themselves, who is taken out of that and chooses to redesign their life to sustain themselves because it seems easier, even if he's been sustaining others. There's a sense of spaciousness that is needed, but it does not mean that you have to fully distance yourself from being nourished by the people in your life and by the environments that are here to support you. So we say this prayer for anyone listening that this resonates with. May you know the importance of solitude May you believe in the knowing that this solitude is to strengthen you to be able to meet the world. And in that strengthening, that your trust in the world is then instilled in every breath and spoken with clear resonance, how you wish to show up for yourself and the world before you. How you wish to show up for yourself and your family, yourself and your friends, yourself and the planet, yourself and the prayers that have yet to be spoken by you. So listen, what is the prayer that is anchoring itself in your abdomen? Put your hand there. Listen, hear it, speak it, proclaim it to the world. This is the direction of the peaceful warrior. Thank you. All right. So Whitney, my dear, that was for your brother in honor of where he's at and that we are allowed to share without being intrusive. So moving on, and Nuno, hello. I am doing really well. I am here in beautiful springtime and I had a very, very busy day. So meeting is happening now. And let's see. Oh, you're welcome, my dear. Let's see if we have any private messages. And welcome to everyone who is watching, whether it's your first time watching or if you've been here before. We do this every Wednesday at 2:30 Pacific Standard Time. So it's also an opportunity, very helpful. You're so welcome. So it's also an opportunity to ask a question for yourself, for humanity, or for the planet. And if you are watching, I actually don't, I'm going to double check, but I don't think I have anything queued. So that question that you haven't put on the thread or in my message box, you're welcome to do that. Let's see. Oh, hello, Roanne. And if you want to say hi so I know who's here, I actually, because I'm using a different program, I only see the number 9. Hi, 9. And while I'm waiting, something I like to do is I call it intermission songs. So I'm just going to sing a little intermission song. And then if there's no questions that's come up, if I have maybe a question that I want to explore, I'm going to ask that. Otherwise, we can just call it a day. So let's sing a little intermission song. And this is going to be about spring. Okay. In spring, the answers come like the wings of a bird. They balance themselves with the wind and all that's heard within. So prayers to you and prayers to the blooming growth within. Allow yourself to remember where you start, where you began, and hold your body within your prayers. Let the truth remain. Let your heart grow wings. Carry on by the waters, and the air and the wind will follow you. The air and the wind will flow with you. Will flow with you. All right. So, oh, Kathy says, adoring these colors on you. I was just going to listen today, but I've got a question itching while listening, so I'll ask. Wonderful. Yes, I should show you my whole wardrobe. I'm like very much, and I've got the burgundies here. Oh, and I hear the pitter patter of my daughter. Let me just check in. How are you doing, Alila? You're hungry? Okay. Yes, in the fridge. Spring break. This is when she knows she can get anything she wants from me. She's going to go eat chocolate pudding. All right, so you see that I really like spring. I do. I'm a spring baby. My birthday's coming up on April 3rd. So this is a question for Nuno. And then we've got Kelsey. Unless my daughter really needs me, then I'm just going to go. So here we go. So Nuno's saying, I see that you really like spring. Oh, that was the wrong one. I do like spring. There we go. For me, does Invisibles have anything? Actually, it's interesting as I was saying that they're saying like grow your right arm stronger, grow your. It's like the feeling of they're showing me almost like grow your right arm longer, grow your right arm stronger. And for me, the right arm represents giving and being kind of like being of service and also creating. Like it's what we, assuming you're right-handed. Sorry. So in that process of giving, in that process of growing your right arm stronger is how can you explore, you know, and if you have children, you know, you're like, how can I grow it even longer? You just can. There's always, surprisingly, there's ways that we can give more than we really believe we can. And so in this message of growing your right arm stronger, growing your right arm longer, is it feels like there's exactly it feels like there's more ways that you could actually be giving that maybe you've already been thinking about them, but just to know that those directions of giving more and finding more outlets to create and to offer are actually really important for you. And where sometimes I say like hold back, like you're giving too much, you're burning out, it feels like your capacity to actually give more, maybe give to a project or like building something that is going to be supportive of more beings. This actually feels important. And even with like the image of like growing your right arm longer is this feeling of also extending yourself a little more to be able to give more. And so maybe right now it might be hard in some ways to fully see like how can I give any more or how can I have space to give. And this is like the theme today is like creating the space that you want. But okay, they're gonna talk a bit and stop translating. Okay. So why don't you like Jeopardy? It's because Jeopardy, that concept, that idea, represents that there is this potential to lose. There's this potential to win greatness and to also lose, to be embarrassed, to be insulted, but in that very process of putting yourself out there. And so why we're bringing this to your forefront is because you don't have to be like that in your life. It doesn't have to feel like you're going to always have this inevitability of potentially losing, potentially putting yourself out there and just being embarrassed in that process, or whatever that is to you. That what sounds true to your heart doesn't need to look a certain way at the beginning. So in the process of listening to what the world wants of you, what the world wants to have you offer to it, it can begin with the simple fluttering of the heart, a feeling that there's more that you can give. And then that fluttering, as it starts to go through the mind might start to explore, what is that fluttering? What does that look like, right? But then if the mind starts creating an idea, what that could look like, how that could develop itself. And then it comes to the body, and the body begins to feel its capacity, its bandwidth, its actual physical strength. Well, if that's not there, if that strength is not there, then the body can actually shut off. Okay? Through different illnesses, through fatigue. Maybe that's one that you've had in this life. Fatigue is a big one where the body feels that it just can't extend itself. It can't create that space. And so an affirmation that you could work with is, I trust that I can grow, or I am growing beyond the limitations and beyond the expectations I have of myself. Knowing what I am growing towards is nourishing, is sustaining, is precious, and will support my needs, including the needs to become comfortable with this growth spurt. Thank you. That was for you, my dear. I hope you liked. That was helpful. Oh, good. Nina says, it makes sense. And yes, I've started to manage better my time. Good job. All right. So the last question we have today, I don't know if you guys can see. I'm going to show you outside because it's just, let's see. You can see this springtime over here. There's the orchards in our gardens. And there's a pond nearby. There's a pond on the property and a creek running through it. I'm very excited. We just started planting in the gardens. So, here we go. This is Kelsey. Hey, sweetie. All right. I'm wondering about what I'm allowing to hold me back from going to space. From going to space? That's an awesome question. Is that like going into space? What am I afraid of? Like, when you mean going into space, like in my mind, I'm like, I've been talking with different clients today about actual space, like outer space. Is that what you mean? Like allowing your astral self to kind of go up and out into space? Like that's kind of freaking you out? Or does it actually mean maybe there's a typo and you mean finding a space or something about physical space? That would be really cool to explore what's holding you back from going to space. I love that kind of question. Assuming you are still on, my dear. Well, a lady whispered 3 years ago into my ear, you have to go to space. Yes, outer space. Okay, well, have you ever done outer space guided meditations? Like, have you ever tried to go up there in a meditation? Like, I'm wondering if you are uncomfortable about even the concept of starting to practice going there, because in order to bridge that, like the first feeling I had was needing to become comfortable with actually like, because there's one thing to leave your body, right? Our astral self leaves the body like in through dreaming or sometimes different heightened experiences. I mean, you just had a baby. That's an amazing embodying time, but also I know like the soul and the spirit kind of can go all over the place. So why I bring this up is I'm curious if there's any resistance to releasing or like disconnecting that far from your body and from what's known here and what's comfortable, because I'm wondering if that was also more in relation to you needing, maybe she was also like you needing to tap in with continuing to like pass through that. I know through theta healing, which is I can probably take this down now. Sorry about that. Dun, 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 dun. So theta healing is a practice that I'm studied in and I'm trained as a practitioner. And one of the exercises, like, so in order to get into theta, we actually do this meditation where we go all the way down to the center core of the planet and really root ourselves with an energetic cord. And then our consciousness moves up that cord, up through our body, up to the top of our head, where there's like this ball of white light. And then we enter into that ball of light. I'm not going to take you on the whole journey because kind of go into theta brainwave, but that ball of light goes up, 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 and at one of the parts, it's like going through space, even though we're going through these different gateways. So there's different realms of existence, so to speak. So there's like the realms of, there's like this realm of laws, so the laws that govern the universe. There's this realm where like the bodhisattvas and the enlightened masters and those souls live. There's this realm of compassion. It's this beautiful realm that you pass through. And then the seventh plane, which is where it's kind of like the God plane, the place of creation, that the unconditional love, like that essence. That's kind of that's the goal, is to make it there. And so it'd be interesting to explore, maybe even exploring the theta meditation, exploring bringing yourself into a theta brainwave. I don't know if you have much experience or if you're all about that. I've been doing that for a long time. But the theta brainwave, so in that meditation, actually going through and visualizing yourself, traveling through space and past stars and planets and through the Milky Way, is actually can bring your consciousness into a theta state. There's a lot more. It's like kind of that state right before dreaming, where you're not fully in your body, but you're not in deep REM. And it's also a state where a lot of healing can happen. So it's also the state of trance. So when I'm doing invisible work sometimes, and when I'm doing deep soul journeys, I kind of go into that theta state. And it can also be very tiring, so you have to keep alert, otherwise I fall asleep sometimes. So why I'm bringing this up is it feels like I'm on a tangent, but it feels like perhaps that's something to explore, at least right now in your time in your life, is to explore meditating and sending yourself above the planet, looking down, and just like playing in space a bit, like traveling through the stars, traveling, maybe finding a planet, and kind of just exploring that aspect of the meditation. And the last thing I'm doing, I think they want to, and this is the last question, by the way, for anyone that has been on the fence about asking. So let's see. This is a little guidance I have about connecting with the space. Unless you're a flat earth theorist, and then forget about all this. So many people have forgotten that the consciousness has been traveling through space for millennia. That ancient civilizations have used consciousness as an actual ship into these realms. That doesn't have to be so physical to actually journey to these different places. So to restore and bring in that tool of being able to navigate your consciousness out of your body, out of what's comfortable, while being grounded, of course. It's important, if you're going to be journeying past the body, past the ozone layer, to really love the life you're in, or really appreciate and be responsible to returning to your body. Because a lot of people can be the fear or the resistance of actually leaving the body, is a fear that represents death. Okay? Well, what if it's not death that happens, but it's actually becoming translucent to the body's needs for just a short time? Some people can get lost in this translucent nature, though. Can forget about what they need, forget about their body's need, let go of responsibilities. Because their essence or their consciousness is traveling, right? So when you travel, if you want to explore this journeying, this meditative state, whether through your dreams or actually going into a meditation and taking yourself there with your mind's eye, please go with a purpose. So set the intention and hold that dear to your heart. What is something that you wish to explore? What is something you wish to learn about yourself? So that in this journey, passing through space or wherever you are taken, because the thing about leaving the body and choosing to go into the spaciousness is that your will and the agenda of the universe will find its beautiful meeting place, and you will be guided there like a magnet from your will to exactly what it is calling in. And then when you're there, being open to how it appears to you, where you're taken, what that looks like, what the inhabitants are. If there are any, maybe it looks like a memory. Space is a place that holds the in-between and the data of consciousness. The consciousness that has been explored throughout millennia. The stars are also luminous anchor points for that consciousness to flock around and to illuminate themselves to those that witness them. So if you want to also connect with space, connect with stars. Allow yourself to go outside at night if you have the luxury and the birthright of seeing the sky, seeing the stars. And set the intention that you will find a star that will bring to you a light, a transmission through that light, guidance, a vibrational gift through that light to you. And these starlights can also be seen as homeopathic in a sense. Vibrational encoding patterns are in each star, unique patterns and structures in that light. So you can allow the actual nighttime sky to support you and reinvigorate you and inspire you and replenish aspects of your more luminous self, of your more celestial self. So we'll end it there. Thank you. Ooh, that was kind of interesting. I like the idea of finding a star and just receiving its Darshan, receiving its luminous, embodied, encoded frequency and its light. Fun. Totally to all of this. I would astral project as a kid in dreams and be horrified, scramble to get back the whole time. What a waste. Hold myself back from theta or trance state. These messages feel excellent. I'm excited. Gracias. Yeah, and so the important thing is that if you're journeying out, remember to put your anchoring cord in Mama Earth, knowing that for me, that's been really helpful. I mean, if that doesn't resonate with you, but I found that putting an anchoring grounding cord here and remembering that, because I've also, as a child, would leave my body. I think maybe you heard this story in a class that I offered, but for anyone else, as a child, I would call it my I'm not here time, where I'd actually feel myself, about 6 feet above my body, kind of hovering as a consciousness. And my body felt really animated. Like I could talk, but I knew I wasn't talking. Like it was almost hilarious because I'd be looking down and watching this animated body that was reacting to almost like signals that my consciousness was sending, but my consciousness was very disembodied. And I remember very clearly trying to take people there as a young girl at the playground. I probably was 8 maybe, going under a playground and trying to take people on a meditation to the I'm not here spot. Oh my goodness. I hope that didn't confuse any kids in the rest of their lives. But so yeah, explore grounding and then taking off. And then remembering, so for any journeying, like when I do guided meditations, it's so important, and even with my deep soul journeys, for any of you that's either worked with me or are interested in learning more about that, you can check out my website. It's my own modality where I go into your psyche and actually journey into this realm that your soul takes me to. And we work with guides and soul retrieval and entities or whatever's there. It's very much like a story. So there's characters and landscapes, and it's pretty fun for me to do. But yeah, remembering to anchor and ground first, or whatever helps you feel safe. So even if that safeness is your environment, so making sure that you're in a room that you feel really safe, that there's not going to be a bunch of people coming in. Like as you're exploring this part of yourself, being gentle with your needs for safety so that you can really leave your body. Also, another thing I find very helpful is having a candle nearby. So I usually set the intention. So as you're lighting a candle, you're setting that intention that flame is going to be holding that intention for you as a guiding light and as a force to also bring you down. And so then at the end, you're welcome to like blow that candle out to also show yourself that you're finishing that. So candles are great to use as also as like a timeline to show you like something's on. It's almost like, okay, I've turned on this switch. My candle is like the on switch, whatever your intention is, and then you blowing it out is I'm now closing this. I'm returned to my body. I am back here. So blessings to all of you, and thank you all so much for popping on. And I also do buy the donation Wednesdays, so before this, and I have some spots available next week. So if anyone wants like to go a little deeper, or you were nervous about even revealing yourself here, and you wanted, I do buy donation like half an hour kind of like consultations with the invisibles. So feel free to reach out for that if you want, or just pop on next week and bring another question. So blessings to all of you this beautiful spring equinox time. And I am going to go give my daughter more than chocolate pudding now and give myself some chocolate pudding, which I highly encourage if you're into tofu. Little melted chocolate, tofu, coconut sugar. Yummy. So aloha all of you. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. And feel free to check if you want to go back to any of the answers I've given you, like always, you can go back. If you press on your comment, I think there should be a time there, and then you can go to that time to save having to go through everything.